Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video and a brand new episode of my MotoGP 18 career mode. And today we are here for yet another two races, and in this episode we're going to be racing around Misano and Aragon, two very good tracks. Misano especially, one that I quite enjoy, and we are getting towards the tail end of the season now, and things are getting very tasty because in terms of the standings, possible spoilers, so if you don't want to check the spoiler, then do click off the video or check out the last episode in the card in the top right hand corner of your screen. But 3, 2, 1, and we're going to go to the standings. As you can see, we are 5 points behind Baldassare. A very good last couple of episodes. We've really turned it around in the championship, and anyone in the top 4 can actually win the championship here. And we've got about 6 or 7 races to go, so it's all to play for, and it's that critical stage in the season now where every point matters. And overall, going into this episode, we do have some upgrades on the bike, especially on the brakes. So we have 2 brake upgrades and also 1 on the frame, I believe. So we've got it quite nicely balanced out, and hopefully with the new brakes we can try and push a little bit more into the brake zones and brake a little bit later. But anyway, let's get into the first race at Misano, more specifically into the first qualifying session of the episode. Right then, qualifying time at Misano. Practice was in the dry and we was fastest by half a second, which is very encouraging. However, because it is wet, like I mentioned, it's going to change things up a bit, and it's going to really sort of throw up the pecking order and mix it up. So let's see if we still got the pace in the wet conditions. It's qualifying time. Got it all wrong there. First attempt, just trying to get used to the track conditions. I was half a second up in sector 1, so and according to this I'm still 4 tenths up somehow, but I mean we'll see when I cross the line if that's actually true or not. Well, Bagnaia has dropped the hammer into the 1 minute 41s. That is a pretty damn competitive lap time. We're going to come up to the line, nowhere near that lap time. Probably fast enough to beat the previous pole time, but P5 at the moment. Now we need to start finding some time. Go through the final corner. We're on for an improvement here. First sort of proper representative lap time of where we are, and it's a 42.4, so we're miles behind at the minute. I reckon pole will probably be a 1 minute 40. Anyone who can get into that lap time window will get pole. I don't think I'm going to get that lap time at the minute. Alright, through the final corner. Do we improve? A little bit wide out the final corner. They're not ideal. But do we get any better lap time? Yes, we do. A 41.6. Okay, much better. Now I feel a bit more confident. I can reckon I can maybe push for pole now. Now that I've found some time in my sectors 3 and 4, which is where I was losing a lot. So let's try and go for pole here. Right, through the final corner, we're on for a good lap here. My final sector is my weakest one, so I'm not really reading into my lap time too much until we cross the line. Oh, yes, there it is. Brilliant lap into the 1 minute 40s. That could be pole right there. That was a phenomenal lap. Got it all hooked up beautifully, and I think that's what I'm going to call it, because that was pretty much a perfect lap.
That brings an end to this qualifying session. And after a thrilling contest where the riders gave their all right up until the end, we can finally find out the name of the rider who will start from pole position tomorrow. It was a long weekend for the Moto2 riders, but finally the showdown is here. We are coming to you from the starting grid. There's just a few minutes to go before the race begins.
Another race, another pole position for us, and this is becoming a normal thing now for us getting pole. However, we still do struggle on race pace, which is a reason why I'm not really bumping up the difficulty just yet. We are there or thereabouts, so I reckon by the end of the season we could maybe bump it up a little bit and go a little bit harder on difficulty, but I'm still happy to keep it 105 because it is still sort of qualify well, then get a bad start and not really win the race 9 times out of 10. But for this race though, we are going to get the usual harder tyres on the bike, so we'll go for... I'm going to stick with a soft rear because I feel like it could work for me. Also, we'll get the engine, brake and traction control off. Someone said to me in the comments to turn this off. I've done it before. For some reason though, it doesn't save once I actually get on the bike for some reason and we go into the race. But unless they maybe patched it since, that was right at the start of the game. But we'll see what happens. Overall though, pole position, dry conditions, so we're going to have to readapt to the dry weather. That might take a lap or two. Hopefully that we can try and do it at a good pace and not lose any positions. But anyway, with that being said, it's time to jump into the San Marino Grand Prix. Right then, let's get ready for the 5 red lights. My assists though are still on, so we've got to get those switched off. Here we go, 5 red lights, and we are on the way at Misano, and it looks like a pretty good start for us off of the line here, covering the inside, not allowing anyone to get past. Bagnaia makes the move, to be fair to him, to his credit. I need to try and switch straight back at him though, up the inside of turn 2, making the move beautifully and not allowing him to get into a rhythm. Bagnaia is really strong. Once he gets going up front, and he finds his pace, if he takes a jump into turn 1 and he gets going in his pace, he's really hard to stop. So it's good that we managed to get back past him, but we're now still in first place, so we can now start setting the race pace. I'm having to readjust to the dry conditions here, which I know I'm actually probably quicker in dry than I'm in the wet, so once I find my feet I feel like it's going to be quite hard to stop me, but we need to make sure I make no mistakes and get all the braking points nicely sorted out on this first lap so we can sort of get back used to these conditions again. But so far I'm liking the pace, I'm liking how the bike feels, and so far we are looking good. End of lap 1, we have remained in the lead. Now we can sort of start to push and find the track limits a little bit on lap 2 and sort of get progressively better as the race goes on, but also making sure we keep our tyres in check, especially our front tyre. So let's see how this race develops. I'm a little bit hot into there actually, into turn 3, almost fell down. That's going to allow pressure behind me to try and get past me, but luckily no one was really close enough to make the move, which is what I was saying. I had such a good first lap that no one really could go close enough for a move. So far we survived a little scare, but I need to start picking up the pace now a little bit. Bagnaia on the inside, I'm on the outside here. I've run a little bit wide into the hairpin actually. I accidentally went down a first gear, so we need to try and get back past him if possible. I'm going to go late on the brakes into the hairpin. On the inside, Baldassarri though, making his way through there. Quite an aggressive overtake, but fair play to him. We're going to pick up the toe off of Bagnaia. Can we see if we can get the positions back through these corners? We get the lovely switchback on Baldassarri there. Absolutely fantastic stuff. And we're coming in very hot here behind Bagnaia. A little bit wide, not ideal. If we can just sit behind the Italian for now. Almost hit the deck there. The tyre just buckled a la Marc Marquez when it comes to a bit of a save through there, but a little bit of a corner cut through there. But so far we're holding on. I'm not too concerned. I know I've got the pace to get past Bagnaia. I've just got to try and keep it nice and clean, nice and tidy, and we will get past him. Sectors 1 and 2 I'm very strong at. 3 and 4 I'm weak at. So we can now start to really aggressively attack Bagnaia and win that lead of the race back. So here we go. Through 1 into 2. On the power nice and early. Keep it nice and low through 3. Tucking in a little bit, using the triangle to really get the bike down. And then braking late into 4. A little bit of contact with Bagnaia there. Tried to make my way up the inside, but he pulled it down to the apex quite nicely as I cut the corner again there. A little bit too aggressive. On the power though, very nice exit out of there. We're going to get in the slipstream of the Italian, and this could be the chance for us to make a move here. Late on the brakes, up the inside. A little bit wide. On the exit, Bagnaia's going to switch back underneath me, but luckily we still got a pretty good exit of our own, so we can hold on to the position here as we go into the hairpin. Nice and low. Bagnaia though, even lower. We've been forced out a little bit wide there, so I've got to use the curbing on the outside, but again, in the slipstream of the Italian. Can we get on the inside here? It's going to be aggressive, but we've got to make it work. I'm going to run a little bit wide because I've got a much more compromised line. But we made it work. Covering off the inside now through these corners, not allowing Bagnaia to get back past me. Late on the brakes into this corner here. Almost fell off last lap. This time a little bit more lenient on the brake, but Bagnaia again getting back past me. This is a brilliant battle as I cut that corner again. I'm going to have to let Bagnaia go past there. I can't really take that move. But into the final corner, Baldassarri now looking for the overtake. Instead though, I've had a phenomenal exit, and we're going to pull alongside the Italian. This is a brilliant battle. Can we go around the outside of turn 1? It's ballsy if we do, but we do make it work just about. Cover off the inside for turn 2 on the power, and there we go, back up into first place. Now we need to try and actually pull away. So far we're holding on, 2 laps to go. Front tyre is about to give way, but I'm not too worried. The bike still feels great. Can't really get near a fastest out though, which is in like the mid 37s. I'm sort of in the 38s at the minute, and that's allowing Bagnaia and company to sort of stick with me. I'm trying to break away, but I ain't got really the tyres to do it anymore. But I do have enough tyres to stay in front and maintain my lead, I think. On to the last lap of the Grand Prix. Let's try and bring this one home. Right then, looks like we're good to bring this one home unless I make a mistake. Bagnaia is still right there, as is Baldassarri, but we're holding on. Thick skin, making no mistakes, keep it nice and clean. And there we go, through the final corner on the power, and we're going to come home to win the San Marino Grand Prix. There we go, that is a big win, and I think that is a championship lead because Baldassarri didn't even get P2, so that means we're going to totally take the championship lead. But anyway, let's move into the final race results and then into Aragon.
The stars of this exciting race are finishing their final lap. Let's take advantage of these moments to take a look at the Moto2 final ranking.
Right, qualifying time at Aragon. We go into this race as the championship leader, but after practice we are in trouble. We do not have the pace around here, so I'm going to have to really work on it over qualifying. So let's try and see if we can beat this challenge. First lap in the books, 5.5 seconds off as I got interrupted by traffic, but that 52.0 is nowhere near the pole time. The fastest lap in practice was a 51.5, so as I get that corner horribly wrong. That time's going to really drop. I'm expecting a higher 50 to be the pole, so we've got a long way to go yet. End of lap 2 here, we've got a little bit of competition for position here with Jorge Navarro. I'm trying to turn into the corner, but this is just not helping me and my lap time, but we are not quick around here at all. It's very, very poor. The pace we have is similar to Qatar, which we used to have in Moto 3. 1.7 off, absolutely miles away. Through the final corner, I am slowly improving now. This lap's a little bit better. I'm still absolutely miles away, but this lap is better. Navarro just shoves me off the track there, and that's going to affect my final sector quite badly as we only improved by 0.3. Still in last place. Frustration is kicking in already. I've got absolutely no pace around here. Let's see if we can try and follow Ike Lequana at least and get a decent reference time. Right, let's see if we improve. A second off after 3 sectors. 1.2 off after 4. This is not great. For any of you that wrote in the comments after the first episode, champ difficulty, this is exactly why I'm not doing it.
The qualifying session has just ended, and while the riders make their way back to their boxes, let's have a look at the final times that show us the front row for the start of tomorrow's Grand Prix. A few more minutes and the Moto2 race will begin. Right now, we are at the starting grid, waiting for the riders to receive the signal to start the warm-up lap.
Well then, it's going to be an interesting race here, and I'm not really sure what to expect. I think we have to at least try and finish in the points, which is, I think, is P15. We're starting from P30, so we've got a lot of work to do. I'm not really sure how this is going to go. What I can do is straight away get the tyres changed. So we're going to go for a hard front. I'm going to go for a medium rear because this track is pretty heavy on tyre wear. Also, I feel like we might try and do an auto setting here. So I'm trying to think which is the best one. I'm probably going to say on corners. Honestly, handling is a little bit slow. I want a bit more of a quicker response time to try and see if I can get the bike a little bit more faster to try and move around a bit. So we'll see if that works or not. Realistically, I don't think it is. I think we are just genuinely in trouble in this track. So yeah, we'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting race. Nothing to lose, so let's just go for it and let's see how this race goes. It's time for the Aragon Grand Prix. Right then, let's get the assist turned off and get ready for the 5 red lights here at Aragon. And we are underway, and it's a pretty decent start from us actually. I've sort of bogged down. I don't know what happens. For some reason the clutch stays engaged when you if you don't get out the throttle, the clutch stays engaged for some reason. I can't really explain it, but we get on the inside of a couple of bikes into turn 1, up the inside of a couple of others in turn 2. It's all about picking up the pockets of space here on this game and making sure you make the most of it. We get a good exit though out of there. We're going to get up the inside of a couple of bikes. Quattararo on the outside. He's trying to look back at my inside here, but no way through. Fenati there on the inside line. Can we scrub right on the outside of him? We've got Joan Mir and Dominic Agata as well. Braking late, down to the apex. Oh, it's very close. There's a lot of barging, elbows out, shoulders out. But we are going to get on the inside of Agata here, possibly. Inside line for the flip-flop chicane. I hate this corner so much, and the one coming up now as well, this next left-hander. The never-ending bend, and it's like so painful for me. So I'm so bad at it. So the AI just always get me. So run wide there. P18 though, good start from us. Very good opening lap. I'm not sure if we'll have the pace to build on this, so we need to make the moves count when they do arrive and we get the chance to make them. So let's see what happens. Mir and Agata a little bit wide out there, so that's going to allow me to get back in close with those guys. But so far, like I said, very good lap 1. Can we keep it going? That's going to be the main question here. On the power, nicely done. Can we stay in the toe of Mir? Hopefully Mir doesn't pull away from the guys in front. If we can just follow him at the minute. It's all about following on this. If I can follow guys and learn their lines quickly enough, then we might have a chance of at least maybe pulling back and salvaging some points. As we go into the final corner, way too early apex there. Horrible line, broke way too early. Second apex of the final corner on the power. And there we go. That was pretty nicely done actually. We managed to recover quite nicely there. Now we go to sector 1, which is my strongest point, onto the start of lap 2 here. So let's see if I can make up some places. I'm going to go quiet at times because I'm trying to focus so much, because I'm just not great around this circuit. But let's see, there are points up for grabs here if we can play our cards right. The guys in front are just starting to edge away. I'm struggling to keep up now. The reality's kicking in and the pace I have is sort of showing itself. I mean, I think maybe in Moto2 you do score points for being in P18. I'm not really sure, but I know MotoGP you definitely don't. But there are more bikes in Moto2, so there is a possibility that could be the case. Danny Kent getting on my inside there, but I'm going to get the better exit and hold on to my position just about as we go on to the start of lap number 3 here. That's actually a pretty decent lap. That's a 52.7, way better than my qualifying lap. So I actually gained a little bit on the guys in front of me on that last lap. So if I can keep that up, we might have a chance to get some points if I keep that sort of pace consistent. But it's going to be hard though. That was a very good lap. I'm not going to lie to you. 2 laps to go. My front tyre's about to go. And we're still sort of catching, but we've definitely dropped back a little bit on that last lap. Right, on to the final lap of the Grand Prix. We've sort of dropped off the pace again now. So it's going to be a survival job to try and hold on to P18. In case there are points on offer for this position, I need to make sure I bring them home. Onto the back straight for the final time here. My front and pretty much my rear tyre have both gone. Both burners there is the closest guy. So we need to try and make sure we get the final corner perfect. Keep it nice and low. A little bit of front brake, a little bit of rear brake. Sort of messing around with the accelerator and the brake, but we get it nicely controlled. And we are going to come home for P18. So disappointing, but considering we started from P30, I'm quite happy, especially because we actually set a faster lap than our qualifying one. We did a 52.7, so if we did that every single lap, we definitely would have gotten to the points. But, you know, sometimes it doesn't always work out. But overall, I'm glad we won that good run. We got into the leader championship because that we can sort of afford to have a bad race and still bounce back in the remaining Grand Prix.
While the Parc Fermé starts to fill up with the stars of the race, we're going to take a look at the Moto2 race final ranking.
And there you have it then. Alex Marquez wins ahead of Bagnaia. Baldassarri only gets P3, so again, he doesn't really get maximum points back on us. Remy Gardner in a very impressive P4 for Tech 3 there, but we scroll down a little bit here. We will see that in P18 is where we are, and with the 152.7, we pretty much finished, give or take, where our pace was. We could have, you know, finished as high as maybe P12, considering Sam Rose's lap time or Hector Barbara. So we could have definitely got a couple of points if we'd done that pace every single lap, but you know, it's not always meant to be. But in terms of the Riders' Championship after that race, we go from first to third, and overall I'm not too disappointed with that. Top 4 covered by 9 points, closer than ever, and we are neck and neck with Alex Marquez joint third, but 9 points off the top, that is absolutely fine. We can recover that in a couple of races, so that is absolutely fine, and I've got no qualms about that whatsoever. But it's a 4-way title fight with, I believe, 4 races to go, so it's going to be very, very interesting, and I'm looking forward to it. Anyway guys, we're now going to move into the bike development. Right, we can spend 22,900 points, so realistically, I think I'm going to go for some aerodynamics, because this will be the last one, because once I buy one of these, the other one will disappear, so I have to go for what I prefer. The top speed one's pretty tasty, because I wouldn't mind some top speed, but realistically we're okay for that. I think we can still win. I need to stop these wheelies happening, so we're going to get on that one, and that's going to be the last downforce one of the season, and the last aerodynamic cap where we can do in this season. So we still have 13,500 points to spend. I'm looking at the lean, which is where my bike is, you know, most needs some improvement, and I'm thinking I need to get the rate of descent down realistically, but also need to really improve how fast the bike reacts when I'm steering. But I'm going to go for the lean and get the bike a little bit, you know, I want to get the bike lower, faster. So yeah, that's going to be it for the lean, and then in the next episode, hopefully we will get the stiffness one, and that way we'll level that out. But anyway, guys, that's going to give us 2,600 points to spend as we go into the next episode, which will be racing around Thailand, which is a very good track for us last season, so I'm looking forward to going around there again, and also Motegi as well, which was also a pretty decent track for us. So 2 decent tracks, especially Thailand, good points on offer, and then after that we will have Phillip Island, Malaysia, and then also Valencia. So 5 races to go, not 4. And I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we can try and have a good end to the season and try and bring home our first championship. Who knows? But either way, we'll find out in the next coming episodes. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode of the MotoGP 18 career mode. If you did, then please do drop a like on the video, guys. Let's try and smash 150 likes for this episode. Also, get subscribed for daily MotoGP and Formula 1 content, turn notifications, and finally check out these 2 videos on screen if you have missed them. Other than that, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.